name is Lara Kiswani, and I'm the Executive Director of the Arab Resource and Organizing Center. So AROC works to empower the Arab and Muslim community in the Bay Area and to address the social, economic, and political impacts of anti-Arab racism. And we do that predominantly through our programming, our leadership development training, our youth program, and also developing campaigns that address issues impacting Arabs in the Bay Area. Given the climate of really alienation of all immigrants and impacted communities in the United States, it's important to have a space for people to come together and feel like they also can identify with one another through a shared experience. So what AROC entails is really doing that kind of work, carving out that space for our community, providing a service, a direct service, that's our immigration service. And how we see that is that's a tool to really empower our community with what they need in order to feel like they can create change and be advocates for themselves and really be agents of social change for the society at large. At AROC, what we intend to do is to really strengthen our community base through political education and leadership development and social change. And we also aim to really represent ourselves, to create a space for us to own our own narrative so that people aren't told who we are, but we tell people who we are, right? We have our youth go to classrooms regularly and talk about what are the issues that are impacting them as young Arabs in the Bay Area, in this country. What are they seeing in their classrooms? What are their families facing? What was it like to be born here in the United States and not be able to return to your homeland where your parents were born? What's it like to grow up not seeing your country on a map? These are the simple things that a lot of Arab youth have to face on a daily basis and things that aren't necessarily talked about. And a lot of the general communities and the general population of the United States is not aware of these sorts of experiences because mainstream media does not really provide those kinds of narratives. I was born and raised here in the Bay Area. I have been exposed to things I would otherwise not have been exposed to because I was born and raised here, so I place great value there. But I see myself as a Palestinian Arab because my parents were forced to migrate. It wasn't by choice that I'm here. And while I value my ability to be here and I acknowledge my privilege in living in the United States, I also work really hard and diligently to maintain that Arab identity, both to reassert our right to self-determination, but also to maintain that sense of culture and history that has been, attempted to be taken away from us over the course of the last century. So why I do what I do at AROC is because, working in a space where we are rooted in values that are so deep to my heart, self-determination, justice. These are things that I think inherently I would love to see everywhere in every space, and I can come into work every day and know that we all share those principles and values and all our work is guided through those principles and values. And one day I would love to see the world being guided by those principles and values, and so being able to work in that space for me is my way of sort of starting to carve out a real world that I envision, where people can be proud of who they are, can determine their own futures, and that equity across social, economic, and political spectrums would be attributed to everyone equally.